Hello YouTube, I'm Tyler and welcome back to another Fish for Moto video. This is my 2001 zx6r J2. 20 years ago when this bike came out, the suspension was pretty basic and pretty naff. 20 years on, technology's came a long way and it's also taken a lot of use and abuse over its 56,000 mile life. So today I'm going to be showing you how I'm going to change the rear shock. I'm not changing it for an expensive aftermarket one, as I've done a bit of research, looked on the forums and found out a newer shock from a 2013 to a 2021 model will fit with a bit of slight adjustment. It's almost a straight bolt-on swap, but I'll go through those details later on. For now, I'm going to get the bike in the garage and get it ready to work on. To be able to do the suspension swap on your 2001 zx6r J2 yourself at home, you're going to need the following tools. 14mm and 12mm sockets on a ratchet and breaker bar, a 12mm spanner, a 14mm spanner, an 8mm spanner, a 22mm spanner, a set of long nose pliers or grips, some Allen keys, a torque ratchet with a 14mm socket and a grease gun. That is all the tools you will need to be able to do this job yourself. I've got the bike in the garage, jacked it up using a centre jack and a front wheel chock and supported it with some ratchet straps just to give it a bit more security. You don't want to use a paddock stand while doing this job because when you take out the shock there'll be nothing to support the swing arm and it will just collapse in itself. If you jack it up using a centre stand, when you take the shock off the rear swing arm will just drop down a little bit and it'll be a lot easier to put the shock back in afterwards. First job, I'm going to take the side fairing off and gives us more access to the bolts under here we need for the shock. Once you've got the panel off, you'll have a lot easier access to the bottom nut, which you need to undo first. After you've undone that nut, then take out the split pin from the top and undo the top nut. Then the suspension should just drop out the bottom with a little bit of wiggling. We're replacing the original shock with an updated newer shock from a 2018 zx6r. Replacement shock has only done 7,000 miles over its life so far, so it's still got plenty of life left in it, and I've got it at an absolute bargain price of £65 including postage from the USA. Like I said earlier on in the video, it's almost a straight bolt-on swap, but there is a slight modification and change you have to do. At the bottom here you'll see they have these pins and grease seals. The replacement one, there's 2mm difference between the pins and grease seals. Go to Fowler's or any other genuine parts place and you can pick up the pin and the seals for this shock if it didn't come with it, or a lot of the second hand ones you see on the market will come with this and you can take the parts from this. That's what I done. Just to recap, you don't want the original pin or the grease seals. You want the new pin, new grease seals, which are 2mm smaller, with your new shock. On the top end, the gas canisters are different way rounds, which isn't a problem. But on the original shock, you have this locking nut you can use to adjust your height. On this one, you don't. So on this one, I'm going to use these spacers. M16 spacers. Space it up to the height I want and then do the lock nut up. Now let's get this new shock fitted onto the bike in the same way we took this shock off, but in reverse. Once it's back together, torque the upper bracket nut to 59 Newton meters and then replace the split pin. Once you've done that, then torque the top and bottom shock mounts to 34 Newton meters. When you've finished torquing up all the bolts, undo the bottom grease nipple and use the grease gun to re-grease the bearings. So there we have it, YouTube. The suspension on this bike has now been changed. The bottom adjusters I've turned to 1.5 turns out, and the top preload I've done a couple of complete turns on it just to give it some base settings before I take it for a ride and see how it feels. I may adjust it a little more after I've been for a ride, but who knows, I'll see how it feels first. Overall, I'm really happy. I think it's a really good budget friendly aftermarket upgrade for these bikes, as originally the suspension was a bit naff in the first place. And like I said earlier on in the video, technology and material has came on a long way in the past few years. Hopefully you found this video useful. If so, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel and check out some of my other videos on the ZX6R J2. Thanks for watching, see you next time.